What's going on, people, and welcome to episode 3 of the Delusionals podcast. I'm back with the man Cliffo. How are we doing today?
Not too bad, mate. Not too bad. It's grim outside, though.
Is it rough
Not
up
gonna
there?
lie, it is grim here. Oh yeah, mate. It is like proper grey. It's one of those like really rubbish,
Sad
crappy
mornings.
days. It's like mizzle. Do you know what
I don't
mizzle
know what
is?
mizzle is. I
Mizzle.
don't know what is that. It must be a northern term. That's not what I've heard.
Mizzle. It's no. It's like halfway between like misty and drizzle. It's like when there's kind of like you go outside and it's like that kind of like
Mm,
mist of wet.
mm.
It's like not rain,
It's all
but it's
damp.
like
You can
blowing
feel it.
around.
Yeah.
So it's like that. Yeah, yeah. But I hear there's strikes as well in London,
Yeah.
so that's
I
all
was thinking
going
of
to be
going
a
into the
cause for
office
fun.
yesterday, and then I saw that there was a total walkout on every tube line. So it was like, oh, maybe not.
Yeah, yeah. It never happens when it's nice and sunny, is it? And you think, oh, I'll just walk in or whatever.
They
It's
seem to
always
strike
grim,
every 2 fucking
proper grim.
weeks, but it is what it is. Bringing you today. Bringing you
Never paid
today
enough.
the scores. The catching up from match day. Where are we now? 27, 28 now. So I think we're starting to get towards the end of the season.
I think it's 20. Yeah, I think 28 is this weekend. It's 27, but
It's
it's
all
all chaos
chaos.
because like Burnley Spurs was match day 13, and like Watford Palace was 18,
Yeah,
and
so many games in hand.
all these catch ups. You're right, mate. You need to kit out. You need to quit the 20 a day. That's a bad cough you got there. Yeah. So I suppose if we go chronologically, last week, Wednesday 23rd, Burnley Spurs.
Well, Burnley.
The mighty
I know we
Spurs
spoke
have
about Burnley a
fallen.
couple of times over the last two pods, saying are they kind of starting to possibly hit a little run of form and start to scrape some points together coming out of the relegation zone? And to be honest, it looks like they are. That's
How?
they've not lost in three now. I don't
How?
think they is it 2 wins and a draw now in their last three. Um,
Yeah, something like that.
and
Yeah, it's mental.
to get that 3 points off of Spurs is absolutely huge for them because I don't think that was a team that anyone really planned them to beat, and they were in desperate need of points. And it's
Well, I think we all thought they were going down, right? I mean, Norwich look like the
yep,
dead certs now.
yep,
They're really in a really bad run of form at the moment. But yeah, Burnley. I mean, what are they? 1 point. They haven't got those games in hand anymore, but they've got games in hand on Leeds and Brentford, but they don't
no,
have it on Everton. So I think Everton just need a couple of wins in their last few games, in their last set of games, I
really
think, and
do. But they've got some. They
they'll
got a
be
little bit of a
okay.
tough run. I know they play some of the good guys, and I know that Brentford, Leeds, Burnley, Watford, maybe Everton. I can't remember. I can't remember reading Everton, but all of those teams play each other. Um, Pretty much everyone at the
Yeah,
bottom's matching up, so
yeah.
it's
I
going to
don't.
be tasty.
The bottom I can't. The bottom I
No,
cannot work out. It's harder to predict than the Championship
yeah,
playoffs. Like
it's a tough
it's
one.
just mental. But Spurs, what's going on? They beat Man City 3-2, flying high. Everyone's like, oh, I love. Honestly, anyone watching on YouTube, all you can see is this massive grin on Josh's face right now. He's so happy with Spurs' downfall. But yeah, what's that about? Like, how can you go from beating City 3-2 away to losing to Burnley
And then
one
to
nil?
Middlesbrough last night.
Oh, of course, yeah, I forgot about that.
Um,
Oh my days! I mean, we'll get onto the FA Cup in a bit, but
yeah,
like that is,
they're
yeah. What
it's really funny. I mean,
is
I don't think
Conte
anyone
going?
expected. I don't think anyone
Is
expected
Conte staying?
them to do City if Spurs fans are being totally honest with themselves. But the thing,
Yeah,
the
no.
thing that I find really enjoyable in all of this is Conte just constantly berating the team and saying how bad they are. Like every interview he seems to have, he says how the situation is way worse than he realised, and how you couldn't see how bad the situation was until you came into the club, and now he's in the club, he realises how bad it actually is, and losing the way he's losing isn't for him, and it's never happened to him in his career, and he starts to say all of these weird things.
But that's like, but that, yeah. What's weird about that, right? Is it's like going, okay, it's never happened to me in my career, blah blah blah. It's like, yeah, but you're the manager, mate. So like, it doesn't matter. Fair enough if you're losing to Man City, Liverpool, blah blah blah, and you're going, oh, we're not competing at the top level. I'm not used to this. You've just lost to Burnley and Borough, like, and you're
Yeah,
Spurs with a what one? How much did their stadium cost them? Like 1 billion or something, whatever it is. It's like
Yeah,
mental, absolutely mental. It baffles me. I can't. And for a manager to say that is just kind of like basically he's just going, I'm shit, and it's like, how are you going to go
such a
anywhere
weird
else,
one,
mate?
and it's such a
Like,
funny one because I think a lot of people kind of just assume immediately that Spurs kind of belong kind of clinging on to that kind of big six around that kind of area. Like, and they're just player wise, they're not there. If you look at the defence on that team, it's not up there with any of the big teams. It's not going to be able to compete with any of the big teams defensively. They made some really good signings in January. I think is it Kulevski, the guy they got from Juventus, the young guy. He looks pretty good, but
yeah.
they need so much defensively. Harry Kane doesn't look like he wants to be there again, and man's turning 29 without a single trophy to his name. Surely that's going to start weighing on him because he should definitely have trophies because he's one of the best strikers we've seen in the Prem. As much as I hate to admit it, he is.
Yeah, especially English strikers as well. It's like it's a shame because you want him to be performing at club level because then it translates into on the international stage as well. But it'll be interesting to see what happens in the summer. It'll be interesting to see whether Conte stays. I think if Conte doesn't stay, Kane goes as well.
And who do Spurs get in? Because I feel like Poch is going to be going to United, and I can't see who.
Yeah, he's not going to go back to Spurs, is he?
I can't imagine.
He won't go back to Spurs anyway, I don't think, would he?
Who else is out there? The only person who's out there is the guy they just fired, Nuno Sante.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, you've got. There's always a random manager from somewhere. What's this lad? They've Jesse Mersch. Where's that at again? Oh, Leeds, of course. Yeah, Bielsa. Yeah. Oh, Bielsa to Spurs.
That's an interesting one. That is an interesting one.
I mean, he'd give him a rocket up his arse and he wouldn't like stand for anything.
Yeah, that's one I don't like that much.
Kind of like bad.
I do like Bielsa. I think he's a good manager. I don't like seeing good managers go to Spurs.
Yeah. I don't know. I told you, mate. Found out, Leeds. Found out. Right. What was next? So then on the Wednesday, same night, Palace Watford.
4-1.
4-1. So Watford coming off the back. Weren't they coming off the back of like a decent result?
They were.
I feel like, or did they? I feel like they had a shock result. Prem result. So they had, because they had that draw against Man U.
Yes, they took a 0-0 and then.
Oh no, that was this weekend. So that was after it. So before, they beat us. They beat Villa 1-0. Of course they did. And then they go and lose 4-1 to Palace.
Yeah, I mean, it's really funny because I was chatting to a Palace friend of mine, and he was saying to me, if you look at Palace's he sent me a chart of when Palace concede their goals, and it's really funny because it's like between 0 and 20 minutes, the bar is like this. Between 20 and 35 minutes, the bar is like this. Between 35 and 45, it's like this. And then you go to the second
it's like
half,
massive,
and it's exactly the same. Nothing until the last 10 minutes of both halves, and they've conceded maybe 90% of their goals all season in the last 10 minutes of both halves.
Is that fitness, or is it just concentration?
Is it just sort of weak mentality? Is it concentration? Is it? It's a really weird one to try and kind of work out. It could be a combination of things, but without those goals, they would genuinely be like top 4. Like, they've sneakily been way better than I gave them any credit for. I didn't realise that they've kind of thrown away a lot of points in the dying moments of games. And I think that
under Vieira, they've really completely changed the way they play, and they've really turned it around. He's even got Benteke scoring, which is pretty unreal considering his record over the last few seasons. But that was a big game actually for Watford. Like that, they were hoping to kind of turn a table, and they've kind of stumbled again, and they're still in that danger zone. They've also played more than anyone down there, I think. Other than Brentford.
But they all play each other. They've still got to play Burnley. They've still got to play Brentford. They've still got to play Leeds. They've still got to play Everton.
Yeah. But that was our lunch bet, right? Watford. So I'm still happy they're going down. So I'm gonna get that Subway. Getting that Subway.
You can't call it. Don't bring the confidence now.
I can call Watford. Right. Next up, I mean, this was the Well, this was the penultimate game nail in the coffin for Bielsa. Liverpool 6-0. I did see the goals in this, and they were like, they just ripped them apart.
Completely outclassed.
Completely ripped them apart.
I mean, if we look kind of almost even 2 podcasts ago when we was talking about who do we think kind of is going to run away with the league, I definitely said, I can't remember what you said now, but I definitely said I think City were going to run away with it. They looked unstoppable, but
yeah, I thought they were too far ahead. I thought they might have a little falter, but I thought that they were too many points ahead.
There is a very legitimate title fight.
Whereas now
it's a 6 points, and Liverpool have a game in hand,
so
it could very well be 3 points.
And they've got City to play. That's the big one. That game basically decides it for me. If Liverpool beat City, that's it. It's going to be like so tight. Because even surprisingly, Liverpool's goal difference is better than Man City, which isn't usually the case. Usually, Man City have an extra point. Yeah, but so that's 6-0 is just absolutely dropping. The problem with Leeds is that they only have one way of playing. They only play one way. They play really high press, high intensity football. They play really high. They press you. And if you're up against a team who also do that, they're gonna catch you. Yeah. And they're with better players like they have, they'll catch you, and then suddenly they'll get you on the break, and that's it. They'll just side through you.
Style of football against the better opposition, who's fitter, faster, stronger, technically better than you, is just it's almost an impossible style of football to play against a better opposition, because they're going to do exactly the same thing to you, and they're just going to do it better.
Yeah. Like, it's okay against a team who are like kind of evenly matched, like when they played us, because we both play relatively high press, and so we kind of cancelled each other out. But with Liverpool, they're just gonna do you. Like, they'll pass it around their back four, they'll skip your press, they'll go past you. Your midfield's completely like bypassed, and then all of a sudden and then they'll fly at you, and you've got like 5-on-4, and it's like, oh my god, it's they need to learn from that. They need to learn quick, and it's going to be interesting because Bielsa, I don't know who will replace Bielsa, because
they've got the American guy, haven't they?
He plays such a oh god, yeah, of course, yeah, Jesse Merck. I have no idea. How does he play? I've never even heard of him.
Where he came from was kind of pretty stunned when I heard the name, just because I expected it to be someone I'd at least had some sort of inkling of.
Is it the
first? I believe it might be the first American
manager.
That was.
Yeah. Other than Ted Lasso, it's I can't. But I don't think I can't think of an American manager.
I know we've had a couple of players in the past, but I can't think of any manager, not in the Premier League at least.
Soccer. Is he going to talk about soccer?
We'll see his first press conference.
Is he going to? Yeah, imagine it's just there. Yeah, the soccer game. It's like, no.
Get about the club.
It's probably like the first. It'll be the first thing that like the press team have like gone. It's not soccer. It's football.
You'll be chased out of
that's gonna be interesting.
Pitchforks if you call it soccer.
yeah. Exactly. And then onto your lot. Absolute turnaround in the last 10 minutes was it?
4 minutes. But Wolves have only got themselves to thank for.
So lucky.
Some of the time wasting.
I had that bet. I had Wolves down. I think I had the draw on that one.
Really
yeah. So is that I didn't actually see it. Did they were they just doing all dirty stuff? You say everyone says, oh, it's dirty tactics.
No, there was
everyone
some time
does
wasting
it,
in
right?
this game that I've never seen before, like time wasting from the manager doing weird stuff that I hadn't seen before, and I'll get to, but it's the.
Like calling timeouts.
Like, he told the fourth official he was subbing off Jimenez. Jimenez then walked around the pitch you're only talking like 120 seconds, but in a game where you're closing towards the 90th minute, that's quite a lot of time. He's walking around for almost a full 2 minutes. He starts arguing with the ref, saying, I'm not coming off. They don't want me to come off. I'm not coming off. It's not me. They're holding up his number. He's going, it's not me coming off. It's not me. The manager then starts arguing with the fourth official, saying, like, get him off, blah, 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 get him off. Jimenez then gets yellow carded from the ref because he won't go off. Jimenez then slowly walks over to the sideline, turns around halfway, starts arguing with the ref again. He then walks to the sideline. The manager then says, stop, don't come off the pitch, because if you come off the pitch, then you're off. I don't want you to come off. I want the far away left winger to come off, who's on the other side of the field. I don't want Jimenez to come off. So then the fourth official throws his board away, picks up another board, holds up who the actual sub is to come off. And at this point, they've wasted 4 or 5 minutes. Well, they added 5 minutes at the end of extra time and we scored in the fifth added minute that was added because of that.
Oh,
So
there you go then. Karma,
it's
innit?
the first time. I mean, when Wolves went 1-0 up, I thought we was going to be in a world of hurt because they hadn't. One of the most insane stats I heard all season is Wolves haven't lost in 3 years after taking the lead. 45 games, 45 matches, they haven't lost after taking the lead consecutively.
Is that just in the Premier League,
I
or is
don't
that
know.
just
The commentator
like...
that said the stat just said they haven't. Oh, I think he did say Premier League actually. They've lost. I think it's been 3 years since taking a lead that they have lost, and it's 45 games, and I believe it was just league.
That's mental. Because when did Wolves come up into the Premier League? Was it like
4 or 5 years ago now.
years ago?
Yeah, it
4
was
years
the
ago?
Nuno year, the year they was
So actually, most of the
after
time they've
taking
been
the
in the
lead,
Premier
they
League.
know how to defend it, and it took us to the 95th to take it away from them as well. And
It was an
keeper
own goal
punching
as
his own
well.
net. It did feel like it.
Oh
I
man,
mean, if you
I
watch the
felt so
highlights
sorry
from
for
the
that
goal, and if you
keeper.
look at the goal, Lacazette kind of just drilled it across the face of the goal, and Saka was at the back post, who looked like he would have tapped it in.
Yeah, it would have been at the back
But
post.
yeah, the keeper just swiped at it, punched it in. Fantastic. That's what you get for wasting time, cheating bastards.
But Laka, he's an interesting one, isn't he? He kind of like boils hot, then goes cold, then he's like the best thing since sliced bread again.
That's the thing that's the thing that I think shows through kind of every week is his work rate is kind of constantly really, really intense. Like he'll always work, which means he is going to keep popping up in assists, random goals at random times just because of that work rate. And that's kind of the biggest thing for me that I've seen from him this year. It feels like it's always concerning for me, right, is when a guy who's kind of closing on the end of his career, he's in a contract year where his contract's up at the end of this year. He's playing for his last contract, so if the effort kind of at 110% now, he signs his last deal, and then we immediately see a drop off. Ozil or Aubameyang, like we've seen it. We've seen it back to back times. Do we put ourselves in this situation again where we re-sign him, give him a decent chunk of cash? Because you're almost paying like a friend of mine has the take of when you pay someone at that age of a contract, you're paying them for what they've done for you rather than kind of what they're going to do for you. Which I get, but he's been good for us. He's not exactly been the reason we've won loads.
Because we were linked with him, I think, briefly in the January transfer window. I don't think he's the kind of player, or I don't think there's anything in it. But it'd be interesting to see if he does stick around, or whether you guys look to, because there's going to be a bit of an overhaul, right? So he might turn into a bit of a backup.
Which is fine for us if we need a backup.
If anything,
because we obviously you need backups in your squad. I think we are going to be looking to sign a first team striker. The issue is we've got guys like Balogun, and Ketty is likely to leave. But we've got Balogun coming through who's likely to become the backup as well. So at what point do you want to give the kid more time and experience over kind of the vet that you've got there? It's an interesting one. I don't know if we keep him around. To be totally honest, I'm not sure he stays around next year. But we'll see. I'll have him if he's around.
Yeah. I think you'll have any player if they're around with the size of your squad at the moment. Right, and then on to the weekend just gone. So we'll try and rattle through these a bit quicker. So we got Southampton, Norwich. Yeah. Norwich are dead. Norwich are gone. They're showing nothing now, unfortunately, and it's real sad because I like Dean Smith and I want him to do well. But mate,
the pressure's kind of feels like it's off, and they are getting worse.
Yeah, maybe they can rebuild Championship, come back up, but I feel like they do it every season. So Southampton, another decent win for them. They're now 9th. They're only 5 points off you guys, and they're 10 points off.
We got games in hand as well, don't we?
The jump from 9th to 8th, Southampton to Wolves is 5 points. So it kind of you're starting to break away now. Leeds again. Wow, 10 goals in 2 games conceded with none scored is pretty bad, especially when Spurs have just come off the back of that terrible result with Burnley to beat Leeds 4-0.
Leeds are looking a little bit in trouble.
But again, it's like I said, though, again, it's because they would have played the high press. Spurs are so good on the counter-attack, and it's like they've got the speed of Son down that wing, and they
try and play really high press against a team that counter-attacks. So.
Yeah, it's not a surprise. It's not a surprise to see that result. Like Leeds do well against the teams who don't come at you, who can't counter, and they don't have the play, and they're not good under pressure. So against teams like Watford or maybe even Palace, Teams like that, Brentford, they'll
Yeah.
give them a game. Whereas teams like Spurs and even Arsenal,
Likely to take them apart. Yeah.
Liverpool, they'll just kind of play around you and they'll jump the press. Newcastle, Brentford, Newcastle.
I mean,
I'm really sad. I'm really sad about it because I don't want money to buy you success.
we all know it does. We all know it does.
Yeah, 5 games unbeaten now, 4 wins out of 5 for them.
4 wins out of 5, which now
Yeah,
puts them on a season total of 5 wins, which shows how bad they were before January.
Yeah, they were shocking, weren't they? They were appalling, but they could easily finish like kind of 12th.
They can start to sneak their way up there.
Decent mid-table finish.
It very much shows you what investment can do to a team in quite a short space of time to me, because they've replaced the centre back and CDM. They're kind of like the main 2 kind of areas that they've improved, and that's immediately short.
Yeah, I was going to say that it's a weird one because the thing is before though they weren't scoring. Whereas now they seem to be picking up goals, so it's just belief. A lot of it's belief. They got those couple of results, and now they're like we're unstoppable. Brentford are having a torrid time. They are dropping like a lead.
I don't know when their last win was.
Yeah, I don't know, but they are dropping like a lead.
They've also played the most. They've also played the most out of everyone below them.
Yeah, 27. Yeah. Like, if Everton win 1 or 2 of their games in hand, Leeds, I mean, they're on that torrid run, but you'd expect them to have a bit of a new manager bounce. They're also playing us soon, so they're guaranteed a win there.
It's going to be a tough one for Leeds for me.
Yeah. We'll see. Palace, Burnley, 1-1. Yeah, Burnley, grinding it out again.
I mean, we keep saying how tight that relegation zone is. That point's absolutely huge for them. Put them kind of like 2 points behind Leeds, 1 point behind Everton. Obviously, Everton with the game in hand. Doorbell.
I didn't hear that. Yeah, we just got you just going doorbell.
I should just pick it up.
It's like a voice-activated doorbell. It's like doorbell. It's like it goes off and it just triggers something in your head. Doorbell. Sorry. But also, obviously, Burnley lost yesterday. They lost 2-0 to Leicester.
First loss in 4. They managed to pick up kind of 7 points from sort of last 4 games, which for them is huge. Yeah. 7 points, that was a third of their entire season total at this point. So in the last 3 games.
Yeah, that is pretty nuts. That is pretty nuts, to be fair. And if they win that game in hand on Leeds, Leeds are in there.
They go above them.
Yeah, I think. If I remember rightly, though, Burnley have got a torrid run.
They've got a torrid run, but they also play all the teams around them still. So they do play a couple of teams, but it's like
it's in their own hands.
Really
basically, it's in their own hands.
Look at kind of Leeds, Brentford, Everton, Burnley, and even Watford. Like their run is almost exactly the same. They all play each other, and then they've all got like a Chelsea and a Liverpool, or they've all got kind of a couple big games in there, but they're all playing each other. So this end of the season is going to be really, really interesting for that kind of bottom 6-7 positions.
I don't know how they're doing it. They sold one of their main strikers to a rival, and somehow they're managing to do it. It's mental. It's pretty mental. Man U, Watford, Man U. Every time I think they're going to turn a corner. But how are they still fourth?
Because of games played. Played the most games in the league. Played 27 games.
Yeah, but it's points on the board, isn't it? It's points on the board. Like they're there.
Like Arsenal were 2 points behind them, 3 games in hand on them.
Oh, even if they finish 5th or 6th, I'd still be like, that's better than I thought they're doing, because I can't remember the last time they won.
Still good, but if Spurs win 2 games they're also above them. Like, they start to slowly creep down, and then, like, Wolves maybe not on their tail as much. They can only get 4 points behind them, but even then, 4 points with the amount of points that United are sticking up with.
Spurs, I have no faith of winning those games in hand. And then it's your lot who are probably most likely. West Ham have had a bit of a slip and fall as well.
Beating West Ham was huge.
But
us beating West Ham was absolutely huge.
Yeah. Just looking at the form table, right? It's pretty mental, because Newcastle are like the second most informed team in the league, behind Liverpool. I mean, you look at that. You look at that table, and it's just like greens at the top, reds at the bottom, and then suddenly Newcastle are just in there with all these greens.
In a draw.
It's just bonkers. Yeah, it's just weird. Yeah, it's baffling. Right, onto the mighty, the game we've all been waiting for. Brighton Villa. Come on, get in. It was
better performance than the Reds one you saw the week before.
Oh, it was much better. It we weren't amazing. Brighton were pretty poor, if I'm honest. I never felt worried. Kind of controlled the game relatively well. It's just sometimes when we control these games, sometimes you find we just can't score, or we just don't bury it. So to actually score 2 goals, fantastic. Matty Cash, the Polish Cafu, bangs one in from right back. And then Ollie Watkins, I'm so happy for Ollie Watkins. I don't think he's scored since like December or something like that. It's like really, really good for him. And what was interesting as well, some of the Villa fans were talking, they were saying, what was weird was Ollie Watkins didn't celebrate when Cash scored. So apparently he doesn't really celebrate when other players score.
So weird.
But then when he scores, when he scores, obviously he was so happy. But Danny Ings is like running over to him with the biggest smile on his face, like grabbing him and hugging him and all this stuff. And it's like that's what you want to see. But I suppose the thing is with a striker is you have to be selfish. Like I think you've got to be that egotistical. You've got to believe that you will deliver. You are the man. You're the one who can do it. So it's like I suppose in that case, in that sense, but it's a bit sad to kind of see when a team score and then one of your players or a couple of players aren't really celebrating. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? But Matty Cash finally delivers some output. I love Matty Cash. He's like doesn't stop running. His work rate's insane. He gets into fantastic positions. He's overlapping. He's running inside. He's driving at players. Yeah, he's crossing. It's just shocking. He's crossing so bad. But what I don't understand was he was brilliant at Forest at it. His delivery was great, and all of a sudden his delivery's gone, worse than Hermes. And he's like, he can't even get the ball in the he'll either overshoot, he'll hit the first man, and then he just comes in with an absolute belter, smacks it 25 yards.
I love it when a fullback.
Loving it, bottom corner.
So I could you just see yourself going mentally.
It was cracking
when Carl Jenkinson just rattles one top bins. Nothing better than a fullback screamer.
But what are your thoughts to his yellow card? He got a yellow card because he ran off. So he ran off, took his shirt off, but he had like a message underneath for his Polish teammate who's in Ukraine because he plays for Dynamo Kiev, and so he runs off with this message like saying "Stay strong, bro," blah blah blah. Gets a yellow card.
I find some of the...
Surely the ref's got to look at that and do discretion.
Yeah, I find some of the officiating in the league so weird. I feel like...
Oh, also in that game, oh my God, the ref was so card happy. I think there was 9 yellow cards. And I think they were all in the first half. It was mental. He was dishing them out. He was just dishing them out. Cards everywhere. And yeah, one of them was Matty Cash, that celebration. What was that? What was that rule brought in for? What was the point in that rule?
To stop people like supporting political messages and all of the other weird nonsense that they talk about whenever they talk about showing.
But is that what it was? Because it was around just taking your shirt off. But if you just take your shirt off and you've got nothing underneath and you're just waving it around your head, that's not exactly like a political message.
Every player wears about 3 underlayers now, so you're never seeing bare chest anymore. So that issue seems to have gone.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I guess if the...
I didn't know if it was like... Because they have the thing about going into the fans, right? So I didn't know whether it was like a thing of riling up the fans. But like I was like, all he did was take off his shirt and do a message to message of support for this terrible stuff.
Some sort of discretion when they're looking at it and go, right, yeah, I can kind of get it. Like,
I wonder if we get it overturned, but I don't think you can with yellows, actually. I don't think you can with yellow.
If it's the rule, it's the rule. I can get that a job's worth ref would have to give a card in that situation. If a player takes their shirt off, you, as the referee, have to give them a yellow card. But you should be able to use some sort of common sense and go, actually, we'll leave that one for now.
It's just a bit bollocks. Two bollocks. But I think Stevie Gerrard took the fall anyway. He said, "I'll take responsibility for that one," because he said something about he should have told the players to stay calm or something. I don't know. Man City Everton. Bit of a grind out.
Really late goal.
1-0.
Sort of in the late 80 minutes. Sort of past. I think it was past 85. That goal. It was a really late goal.
But the big talking point, the magic hand which turned into a foot. How is it not handball?
Yeah, it's one of the strangest decisions.
I'll put it up on YouTube, because that is like the craziest decision one of the craziest decisions I've ever seen. That'd be like if a player was like a yard offside and they said, nah, VAR, the lines.
Yeah, it's one of the weirdest decisions I've seen all season. And kind of immediately after it happened, I messaged you and said, this is the worst officiated league in the history of all leagues, in all sports.
It's just shocking.
There's
it's
just
shocking.
No form of consistency.
It's the worst I've seen. It's the worst I've seen in the Prem.
Form of consistency.
It's the worst I've seen in the Prem.
Decisions. They keep making all of these rules, and they're like half ambiguous, half kind of set in writing, which leaves so much open to interpretation. But when a ball strikes there, it's a yellow card and it's a handball.
But the decision should be, if it's ever going to VAR, I still feel like the decision, it should either be, whenever it goes to VAR, it actually just goes to the ref. Like, as in, all the VAR do is say, but that's the point, right? They should have sent it to the ref. But I feel like the way it should work is the ref asks to see it. The ref just goes, I'm not sure, I'm not 100% sure, we'll go to VAR. He then goes over the screen, has a look at it, and then that's it.
They just need
to tell us
what they're talking about and what they're looking at. If they just tell us what they're looking at, then it would just solve everything.
So he said after the game, is it Andre Marino or whoever it was, he said that he didn't feel that there was enough evidence to conclusively call that it hit his arm. And I'm literally like looking at this screen, I'm like, I don't know where else it's hit.
It sounds like someone speaking after he knows he's made a bad decision and he's trying to justify.
And apparently because Everton complained to the Premier League, and apparently the Premier League apologised.
Good, right.
I mean, they're not going to do anything else, right? They're not. It's not like they're going to give them points or anything. But but just to say, oh, sorry. It's like, what? Everton could go down. They could go down based on that point.
The Premier League officials, so whatever their official association is, like of all of the Premier League referees, they've actually agreed to have a meeting with Arteta to discuss why so many questionable decisions have gone against Arsenal this season. Because there's been hundreds, but there's been loads and loads of documented kind of, what the hell was that decision? That was like, and then the same foul happened 10 minutes later to the other team and wasn't given a card. And oh wait, hold on, like Martinelli did a yellow card offence. The referee played advantage. Martinelli then ran and made another tackle, and the referee gave him 2 yellow cards for 2 different infringements, but in the same phase of play, which is completely against the rules, and sent him off. He got a red card, and we went down to 10 men. Like, so many questionable decisions have gone against kind of Arsenal and against a lot of other teams this season as well. It's not just Arsenal at all. It's just saying Everton and this, like
it's just really bad, isn't it?
League officials like agree to have a meeting over bad decisions. So it feels like they've taken some sort of ownership for it at least.
The problem is that a lot of the rules in football are subjective, or a lot of the calls in football are subjective. It's not as black and white as other sports. So it is harder, but it's just the standard of refereeing so poor. But yeah, we could talk about that all day.
The biggest issue, it doesn't feel like anyone's held accountable for the
decisions.
Like, oh, wrong decision. Sorry. Next time.
Yeah, they just get. Yeah, you get dropped down to being fourth official for a few games. It's like, okay, cool, fine. West Ham Wolves 1-0 West Ham. West Ham pulled one out of the bag here a little,
because that kind of, they're all around each other, sort of Arsenal, Wolves, West Ham and stuff. We could have, funnily enough, done with Wolves coming out of a win there, because West Ham are hotter on our tail than Wolves are after we took 6 points off Wolves. But huge one for West Ham, because Wolves have been a tricky opponent for a lot of teams this year, and again they're competing for that Europe spot. So it's a massive one for West Ham.
Yeah. Do you think they'll get it? Do you think they'll get top 4?
I think, to be totally honest with you, without sounding really biased, Arsenal are in the best position to get 4th right now. Um,
Yeah. If you look at it just based on paper,
I
on
think it
numbers,
goes City,
Arsenal are in the
Liverpool,
best position.
Chelsea, Arsenal, West Ham United, Spurs, Wolves.
Ooh,
I think West Ham go over United. I think West Ham take over United.
yeah. Looking at it, you are in the best position. It all depends. It all depends on whether Spurs can actually like keep
Yeah,
up
if
any
they
kind of
start losing a
form.
few on the bounce now, Wolves will go above them. Southampton will
Yeah,
slowly start to catch them.
because they're the only ones who can, based on the games in hand and stuff, they're probably the only ones who can really kind of try and keep up with you. But yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know. It's really tight. We'll see in like 5 games or so.
yeah.
We'll have a much clearer picture, and hopefully everyone's played the same amount of games as well. Um, and then Burnley Leicester. Yeah, Burnley. Weird, just weird to lose to Leicester, who haven't really been
No,
doing
that's
anything
Leicester's
either.
first win in their last 5. They've been on a tough run. But I mean, on paper, I'd
Yeah,
have probably had Leicester to beat Burnley, even though Burnley were in a decent bit of form. I'd have probably gone.
yeah.
Um,
I would have called draw. I would
but
have gone draw.
yeah, important 3 points to Leicester because that relegation zone
Yeah,
wasn't not necessarily they was in much danger, but they was kind of 27 points to what is currently 21 points, and they were.
yeah.
It wasn't a million miles away.
And a quick one. Quick one on a FA Cup. So Chelsea, Liverpool went to penalties. What? That is probably one of the best 0-0s
Wasn't there
I have
3 or
ever
4
seen.
disallowed goals? Game was
Oh, it
barely
was
0-0.
ridiculous. It was like off. It. I mean, the one for me that I'm still kind of or maybe I'm not dubious, was the Liverpool one, where Van Dijk was called for offside for obstructing, being involved in play. It's kind of like, I mean, technically maybe, but geez, come on, man. Like I think for starters, his little toe was offside, and also it's arguable that is he really interfering? I suppose he blocked the player off a bit, but
like ambiguous rules. Is he actually interfering? Maybe because the view of the right eye of the keeper his peripheral might have had Van Dijk in it. Like,
yeah,
come on,
it's ridiculous.
come on.
It's bloody ridiculous. But then penalties, man, and then karma strikes.
Yeah.
Kepa, it's weird as well because I felt like Mendy had such a good game.
Yeah. I mean, they tried, didn't they? Didn't they? They tried to sub Kepa off in a penalty shootout like a season ago. They tried to sub him off to put him. It might not even been Mendy at the time, but they tried to sub Kepa off for a penalty shootout to put someone else in, and Kepa refused to come off the pitch. You remember that?
Oh, I remember that.
And now they sub him on
yeah.
for a penalty shootout.
Yeah.
He makes no saves, and this is the last penalty. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, that's just not. That's not the time to be Kepa. Oh, but who is it? Keller,
yeah.
His
He
penalty was absolutely unreal.
Yeah.
It was like top bins, wasn't it? It was like unbelievable. Right, on to fixtures next game week. So match day 28. We'll try and rattle through these. We've got Leicester, Leeds. Let's just do quick predictions. Leicester Leeds, go.
I think.
Go Leicester. Burnley, Chelsea.
I'll take Chelsea there, but I'd love to see Burnley scrape something out of that. Going for the draw.
Go for the draw.
Yeah, I've got
Villa, Southampton.
I've got them in my bet as well. You don't believe it, but I like it.
Draw. 0-0, mate. 0-0 all over it. Norwich, Brentford.
It's a tough one for me. Brentford desperately need 3 points, and to be totally honest, I really struggle to pick Brentford in any game this year. At the same time, I can't really pick Norwich, but if Norwich are going to get any result against anyone, it feels like they're going to get it against a bad in-form Brentford team.
I'm going for triple Ds. Another draw. Newcastle, Brighton.
Tough game. That's a really tough game.
Newcastle.
A good measure of where
it's got to be
Newcastle
Newcastle.
are at. Yeah, but I'll take Newcastle.
Yeah. Brighton are just, like I said, they just look like they're offering nothing at the moment. Wolves, Palace.
Tough one again, but I feel like I've got to take Wolves. Wolves have lost a couple of games on the bounce now, so they need to come back. They need 3 points. I feel like they're going to be out to get that one.
If they can get Jimenez back in, because he was on the bench against West Ham, which is a bit weird. Liverpool, West Ham.
It's got to be Liverpool. Title race right now. I can't really see anyone stopping them.
Yeah, they've got to keep it going.
Got to take
Watford, Arsenal.
As well. Go. You go. Opposite ends of the table.
Yeah, no, I will do in that one. I think, like I said, I think Roy Man City, Man United, the Manchester derby.
This weekend. That's gonna be a great game.
Are Man U going to make them slip up? Are they going to
Man, you can't
make
even
them
make
slip
Watford
up?
slip up. So I got to say City there.
Yeah, Man U just slip on their arse instead. Yeah, it's got to be City. Spurs Everton. I feel like it's going to be Spurs as well. Although it's a Monday night kickoff, weird
I feel
things
like it's going to be
happen.
Spurs, but Everton
Monday
are
night
again
kickoffs.
starting to get into desperation mode. They need points, so they could go in and hold out for a draw or
Also,
something. Yeah.
Lampard will have them fired up as well for
Yeah.
a London club. And then quickly, FA Cup. Very quickly, we've got. I mean, Borough beating
Yep.
Spurs.
Yep.
Wow.
Following Balogun, tearing them up.
Borough through to the
Arsenal loanee.
quarterfinals.
Yes, please.
Trust you to know that. Palace Stoke. Palace winning that one, no surprise there.
I thought Stoke were going to
Although
do them
Stoke
last
are a
night.
tough
I've got to
cookie.
admit.
And
I
then,
thought a random FA Cup midweek
Yeah.
Stoke Palace. That's got Stoke written all over it.
yeah, they're a tough cookie. And then Man City, Peterborough. I'm surprised it was only 2-0 if I'm honest. And then, so today we've got Luton, Chelsea, Southampton, West Ham, Liverpool, Norwich.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
It feels
mean,
like you can't really pick away from the
I
big
can't.
teams there, to be honest, in any of those.
No. West Ham at Southampton. Maybe Southampton will
Maybe
get a
West Ham will
couple
rest
runs.
some players
Maybe.
because they've got some important league games coming up trying to get Europe. So,
But would they go for the FA Cup over Europe? I mean, Europe over the FA Cup?
well, if you win the FA Cup, you get into Europe. But winning the FA Cup's a tough one, isn't it? Right. So, but winning the FA Cup's
Exactly.
definitely a tough one when they're in a good position to get kind of fifth, sixth, and even down to seventh now. It gives you the Conference League, right?
Yeah. The conference. Yeah, the conference. And I don't know if it drops down to 8
If someone in
based
Europe
on
wins the
teams
cup, yeah,
winning.
exactly. So they've got a good chance
I don't know
of
if it
getting
does.
some European football kind of at the London Stadium. So.
God, Villa could get that. Come on. Everton, Boreham Wood. Wow, what a story. Boreham Wood.
Boreham would take 3
Unbelievable.
points off
It's 3 points. It's like Boreham Wood. It's like even the name just sounds
one of the
just
OGs,
terrible, doesn't it?
Boreham Wood.
Boreham Wood. It's just it's just because it's got bore in it. It's just Boreham Wood. But anyway, and then Forest Huddersfield. Come on, you Reds. We'll have to see how that goes. But Huddersfield not doing great, I don't think, in the Championship, if I remember rightly. So, and Forest coming off the back of beating your lot and Leicester. So it's going to be a big game. I'm going to try and get tickets, I think, for that, but I don't think there's many left. On to the betting. So I've got a cheeky double draw. It's, again, always a bit controversial with me. So I've gone for Burnley-Chelsea, draw. Norwich-Brentford, draw. 13.44 to 1.
Not bad at all.
It's worth a tenner. Worth a tenner.
I don't mind that at all. You love a draw. You love a draw in an ACCA. I avoid the draws.
I love it. Because no one bets them. Yeah, no one goes for it. Everyone goes for wins. Draws happen more than you think.
This is why
they happen often.
I stay away from doing like 9 folds and having like 4 draws in them. I try and do like a treble because a treble I feel like you got way greater odds of winning a treble than you do a 9 fold.
I always love the ones where it's just both teams to score because you could be like 10 minutes in, you've won. It's like done. Yeah. I can just relax.
I've got a little treble. On that note of me loving trebles, got a little treble of Villa over Southampton. I think Villa will get it done at home. 3:00. They're going to get it done. They need a win as well. They're going to get it done.
That's going to do you, that is.
Liverpool over West Ham. Liverpool in the title race. I think they're going to be really driving, trying to get one over West Ham there. And then on Sunday I got Arsenal over Watford. So Arsenal, Liverpool, Villa is a little 5-1 treble. Which isn't worth 10 into 50 quid.
I just can't. It always worries me about Villa. I try never to bet on Villa. So
they're
just
not,
like
they're
you
not
probably
the
try
early
never
game,
to bet
so
on
that's
Arsenal.
why I've avoided Leicester Leeds. Never bet the early game. That's a rookie mistake, but
yeah, exactly. Right, on to
big double
fantasy
game
football.
Week, right?
So my little column. Yeah, it's a double game week bonanza. Got so double game week teams this week. We've got Villa, Leeds, Newcastle, Southampton, Watford, and Wolves all playing double games. We've got also, it could be, I think, Chelsea and Norwich also if they progress in the FA Cup. So did Chelsea
Play tonight, don't
they haven't played yet? No. Yeah. So either of those win could be a double game week. So my picks are.
Ooh,
So I've gone for Joe
Arsenal
Willock,
product.
Newcastle.
Yes, please.
Yeah, but he's
He's
doing
been
so well for
good.
Newcastle at the moment, and with them playing Brighton and Southampton, should be
6
games
points
for
then,
goals
should be.
or assists. Yeah, I've gone for Raul Jimenez because any teams that are playing Watford at the moment, I'm going for. So, and if he comes back into the team, he's more than likely to produce something. He's only 7.5 million. Well, Joe Willock, by the way, is only
That's
5.7. That's like a proper.
value.
Yeah, that's a very, very cheeky one. And then you got. He went to Barca and won the league in Spain. He went to Munich and did the same again. He's fucking magic. Well, you don't you fucking know. His name's Felipe Coutinho. So, yeah, we got Felipe, mighty Felipe, Southampton and Leeds. I feel like an assist or two there, maybe even a
He's gonna
goal.
win me my bet this week.
Um,
You're not confident, but you're playing your players.
I'm going for the 1-1. I mean, I said 0-0 earlier, but I'm still reckoning. He's been brilliant. He's been brilliant, and I'm really hoping we sign him full time. I think 33 million or something's been touted, something like that. Yeah, it shouldn't be bad at all. I think it's like 40 million euro.
Yeah, definitely worth it for someone of his caliber. Oh,
cool.
Nice one.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Get at us on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button if you enjoyed the podcast. We're on Spotify now after a technical mishap from Mr. Cliffo, but
oh god, yeah. Sorry about that. It only went out like yesterday or the day before, and we recorded it last week. And I was like, why isn't it uploading? Why isn't it coming up on the RSS feeds? Oh, I forgot to attach the audio file. So yeah, it's been on YouTube, but it hasn't been on the podcasts. But this one will be out on time, hopefully, either today or tomorrow. Today is Wednesday, the 2nd of March, so it'll be today or tomorrow probably. Awesome. Yeah. Well, thanks for that, guys. Cheers for listening. Catch you next time.
We've got, I don't know who we're going to have in, but we're going to have a guest because I potentially won't be here for a couple of weeks. But
yeah, it's going to be one of two. Hopefully, it's either going to be a friend who's a Newcastle fan, quite topical right now, or it'll be a bit of a Villa podcast for all those that care. So we can all just chant Philippe Coutinho because it's such a great chant.
If you keep bringing Villa fans on, mate.
I swear, if you did that, Jesus, I just hang up the phone.
Nice one. I'll catch you next week.
Nice.
See you later. Bye bye.
Catch you next time.